Mena Habib here, Executive Director at Power Minerals. Thank you all for tuning in. So today's key focus for us will be to talk about our Salta lithium brine project in Argentina. I want to start off by saying I spent a fair bit of time in Argentina and I returned with great confidence in the fact that we've got sufficient ground to increase our resource considerably, confidence in that we've got great relationships and confidence in the growth of our technical team there. We believe as a company, we're in that transition process from a lithium explorer to a lithium developer. So today, I want to go through that development plan and give our shareholders the confidence in what we have planned, but also what that will lead in terms of unlocking value for us all. We've got peers that have transitioned from developers explorers into developers, and there is no reason for us not to do the same. Where there's been an increase, there's been an uptake in technology, and there's been a lot happening. So from Power Minerals' perspective, let's have a look at our core focus, and that's the foundation of what we already have. We have 239,000 tons of lithium carbonate equivalent from 2 salars, and with grades up to 313 milligrams a litre. But I want to break it down and focus on each salar and look at the opportunity in terms of expanding that resource and the opportunity of having production at each individual salar, and how that looks like in our overall plan moving forward. The first salar that I want to focus on is the Rincon Salar. And when you look at our peers at the Rincon Salar, we've got our Australian peers, Argosy Minerals, and we've seen their transition and what they've done. So as a company, for us, it's great to look at their flow chart and how they got to that stage. So from our end, we're looking to follow very similar steps. They've got 2,500 hectares at Rincon with grades over 400. We've got currently 1,500 hectares there with grades over the 300 mark. They've obviously gone the traditional evaporation route with a brilliant technology on the back of that, and we're looking to fast track our project by partnering with the only proven DLE technology company that's got 10 operating plants globally, and another 6 in the pipeline. So what that means for us and what that means for our shareholders is we most likely have sufficient lithium in Rincon to have an operating plant there. So our next steps will be a PEA study on what we have currently. But I think, it's important to look at the company when they drilled, or Power Minerals when they drilled previously at Rincon, they drilled to 130 meters. So we've seen peers next to us now being Argentina Lithium Energy. They've announced today that they've got grades over 370 milligrams a litre, and they're going in excess of 300 meters deep. So for us, it means unlocking more value by going back to that salar and drilling deeper. So how much are we going to increase? That's an important question, but it's going to be crucial to how much we can produce there. But we're very optimistic about having a plant there. And that PEA will really map things out in terms of the numbers. We're talking to Sunresa now because they're testing our lithium brine currently in their plant, and we'll update the market. But hopefully really good news, and that will allow us to move to the next step, which is the final piece of the due diligence, and that's meeting on site so they can assess our ground in person. So that's the Rincon project for us. So we're talking to Sunresa there, and the discussions are how big do you want to go? 2,000 plant, a 5,000 plant, and that plant will produce a lithium concentrate in the form of lithium hydroxide, which what we're seeing in the recent market, it's becoming a product of choice for offtake partners. You don't have to go to that lithium carbonate option, but obviously we're looking at both angles. So moving on to Incoasi. So In Kawasi, we have 2,000 hectares. Our next door neighbour there is Ganfeng. They're currently drilling. And what we can see from their end is there's really good porosity. Porosity and flow rate is crucial to a project's success. So from our angle now, we're looking at drilling 500 meters, so 2 holes, a total of 1,000 meters. And this should increase our resource considerably. This is ground that is not adding to our current 239,000 tons. So it's going to be it's going to play an important role. So hopefully we're going to drill any day now. The drill is in the local town, so we mobilize any day, and we'll get drilling and really unlock the value. So this could change the dynamics of our projects considerably. And when you look at the current numbers, we will most likely have a larger resource than Argosy. So with the current lithium prices and the growing demand, it allows us to really help fill that gap. Spoken to a lot of experts in the lithium industry, and they believe there's going to be a shortage to at least 2030. So what that means for us and our shareholders is that we've got plenty of time to help fill that gap, and we're having discussions with the right offtake partners. So we'll finish in Kawasi and we'll move straight to Pasitos. But I guess the key thing here is as we drill, we're not wasting time. We've got a PEA on Rincon that will start hopefully in the next week or two. And by the time we finish the Inkawasi drilling, the PEA at Rincon will be complete. And by the time we move over to Pasitos and start drilling there, the PEA for Inkawasi will be complete. Because the company conducted a brine blending program, there is an opportunity for us to go down that route. And I guess what we're going to do is we're going to compare the numbers of the PEA of individual salars versus the PEA of the brine blended. And the only way that's going to happen is by drilling at Inkawasi, and that's happening now. I hope I'm very clear in the message that we will grow our resource considerably as a result of this untapped opportunity of having great ground next to some of the biggest players in the industry. So I want to move over now to Pasitos. So Pasitos, we have 7,000 hectares. We've got and I guess in terms of the location, I want to touch on the infrastructure. So I visited that site in person, and in terms of the infrastructure, it's perfect. You've got railway. We believe, based on our geophysics, there's water, which is crucial for direct lithium extraction, and there's nearby gas lines, which once again is an important component of DLE. So it ticks the boxes in terms of infrastructure, and for us, once again, we've got some ground that's directly on the cellar that hasn't been drilled. So we're waiting on the VS geophysics outcomes. But what we're seeing from all our salars is, from the geophysics, is an opportunity for additional brine. Once again, what that means for us and our shareholders is unlocking considerable value. We've got the right MOU partners in place, and we're having discussions with other large offtake opportunity partners. And it's an exciting time for the company. But what we're seeing and from our peers, and these guys are going to start producing soon. There is no reason why Power Minerals can't transition from an explorer to a developer. So I want to give our shareholders that confidence. I want to give them confidence in our technical ability. We've got 5 geologists currently working on the team that are working closely in assessing all our projects, not only the lithium project, but we are talking to external consultants and experts that have helped our peers get to the development stage, and we're hoping they can do the same with us. So we're just going to continue to increase the technical skill, the credibility, and the project management, because that's the phase that this company will transition to very shortly. Is how are we going to project manage this to become a developer? So thank you all for your support, and we'll talk soon. So I'll hand you guys over to Gary. Gary's currently in Chile. So the internet's not the best there, but he'll talk to you guys a little bit further, and I'll pick his brain with 1 or 2 questions. Thank you.
Yes, for the DLE of some legend that we are able to take out the lithium from the low concentration brine, and the quality performance for that is and we mean the final product, the purity is the same as the lower grade ones. And for our projects in China, we already have 10 commercial projects. And for the brand that we have, the lowest grade was 50 to 60 ppm for Zhangge project and we think for over sales brand, and for any brand that having lithium over 70 ppm, it can have very good economic benefits.
Yeah, thanks for that, Gary. I guess the one question I think it's important for our shareholders to understand. So your technology allows the extraction of lower grade products, but that concentrate. How does that concentrate compare to, say, for example, a project that's using evaporation and their ppm is between 500 and 800? So obviously it's a higher grade product, but how does DLE allow that lower grade ppm in terms of the compare to the final product of a higher grade using the traditional evaporation?
Actually, for us, when using the DLE, and one of the DLE key benefits was that by using DLE, actually the final purity of the final product are much better than using the post process. So that that even for the lower grade solar, we can get a very high quality, better grade product here. And this process was very proven, and we have been using our process along the for the commercial project we have signed. It's now was 73,000 tons lithium there. So this process are very proven, and for any potential investors, you are feel free to visit our lithium lines that are on the running here.
Thank you for your time.